We begin this morning with breaking news. Vice President Kamala Harris has selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Now, with the pick of Walz, Harris looks to shore up support in the Midwest, which is a crucial battleground to achieve electoral map success.
We want to check in with our Pauline Lee, who joins us live outside of the governor's residence in St. Paul. Things have certainly changed, Pauline, haven't they?
Most definitely. You guys know we've been out here all morning since about 5 o'clock, where it was just so quiet this morning. But now there's a huge crowd of people just down the street here at the end of the residence, and then just a bunch of media outlets from across the country who are here waiting for the governor to emerge from his residence. Of course, we actually saw him go in at about 8 o'clock this morning. He hasn't come back out yet, but we've seen a number of staffers come in and out of the residence as well. Again, this pick is coming as experts are saying there's a number of things that are working in Walz's favor. Not only does he have experience in being a governor here in Minnesota, but he also was a school teacher, a military veteran, and he is only the only person out of the top three that were reportedly the finalists to join Vice President Kamala Harris on the ticket who had experience in Washington as a congressman. Still, though, he was heavily criticized for his handling of the murder of George Floyd and the pandemic as well. And experts also saying his kind of folksy kind of persona also is approachable, is relatable to a lot of people in the Midwest. And then, of course, his coin of the term weird to describe the Trump-Vance ticket and everything from their policies to the way that they talk, the way that they act, that has really just caught fire in the last couple of weeks here. Even the Vice President herself using that at some of the rallies that she's held. And already we've seen people chiming in on social media just of the reaction to the pick here. Tom Emmer was among the first to chime in that I saw on Twitter. Him saying that it's no surprise that Kamala Harris picked Tim Walz to be her running mate. He embodies the same disastrous economic open borders and soft on crime policies Harris has inflicted on our country in the last 4 years. But on the flip side of that, we heard from Keith Ellison, who was also among the first to tweet this morning, saying extremely wise choice. VP Kamala Harris is showing that she is smart, bold, and ready to win. Governor Tim Walz is accessible, friendly, and definitely an ally of Americans working hard for a living. He also goes on to tweet a number of tweets this morning, also mentioning his military background and how he can relate to our military veterans here as well. But we've seen a number of people tweeting. Dean Phillips, we've seen Minneapolis Mayor Mayor Fry also tweeting congratulations as well. So again, it's an unfolding story, but right now we are just waiting to see. And we've also seen a lot of people driving by. We've seen people honking and cheering. In fact, as I look over my shoulder, a couple just took a selfie outside of the governor's residence here. So a historic day in St. Paul as we wait for the governor to emerge from his residence and give his first remarks as a partner for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm. Pauline, is there any indication that the governor's actually inside?
Well, we did see him. I saw him walk in at about 8 o'clock this morning with a bunch of his aides this morning. So I do know that I for sure saw him walking in this morning. He just hasn't emerged yet. So we're still waiting for that this morning, guys.
Pauline, it's interesting to me because we've seen people walk behind you, bike behind you. They haven't closed the roads in that area. I mean, it's hard, obviously it'd be hard for you to tell if Secret Service was there, but what does the security situation look like out there?
You know, it's interesting because you are correct. They have not closed the roads yet. And as I look down the street, I'm seeing this crowd of people grow. And it's not just media outlets from across the country. It's also people in the community as well who want to see the governor now that we know that he is joining the ticket for the White House with Vice President Kamala Harris. They have not closed the roads yet. And we have seen people walking in and out with suits. We don't know if there's potentially Secret Service. They could be, but that still remains to be seen this morning.
All right. Our Pauline Lee just outside the governor's residence. Pauline, we appreciate it. Thank you. Now, recent polls show just how close the race between Harris and Trump will be. In battleground states, votes are split 50-50. Nationally, Kamala Harris has a 1 percentage point lead on former President Donald Trump.
The National Weather Service did confirm a tornado in central Minnesota. This was Saturday night. EF1, it hit Melrose with winds of up to 95 miles an hour, damaging homes, buildings, and farm equipment. Minnesota Vikings returning to the practice field today. The team did have to cancel their training yesterday because of all of that rain.
And meanwhile, we're waiting to learn more about how drunk driving charges against a Vikings wide receiver is going to impact the team. Jordan Addison, he's been charged with 2 misdemeanors and suspicion of drunk driving. He was found stopped and asleep at the wheel back in California on July 12th. It could mean a 3-game suspension.
New details this morning in the case of a Metro bank robber. Police say that they did arrest a man. This is him right here. These surveillance pictures from Woodbury Public Safety. So we know that he was wanted in connection with bank robberies in both Woodbury and Oakdale.
Happening today, primary elections in several states. Michigan, for example, has a Senate race and 13 congressional races. Kansas has 4 congressional races. In Missouri, there are 8 congressional races, a U.S. Senate and a gubernatorial race on the ballot. And Washington has a Senate race, 10 congressional races, and a gubernatorial race as well. Now, here in Minnesota, commissioners in Hennepin County will have a final vote on a pay raise today. That's because last week, the county board voted to give themselves a 49% raise. Current salaries for Hennepin County commissioners are already the highest in the state and more than $122,000 a year. If approved, salaries would go up to $182,000 annually. That would start in January. That final vote is happening at 1:30 this afternoon.
Tonight is National Night Out. This is the time to promote police and community partnerships. And the day has been celebrated since 1984 in both the U.S. and Canada. Police departments and community groups host events like block parties, barbecues, and festivals. Whether big or small community events that include law enforcement, many say can build camaraderie and impact neighborhoods in positive ways. And by improving those relationships, crimes, they say, could be prevented and our neighborhoods could be safer. Now, Edina and Cottage Grove, they're holding their own Night to Unite tonight, as well as for neighborhoods to meet and greet law enforcement and firefighters.